Nobody likes a rule breaker. But you know what? Screw those people. Because worshiping the rules gets you nothing. That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast.
Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams.
Hello, my friend. Thank you for coming back. It's good to see you. I love to talk about sameness. I love to talk about having an original voice. So I'm going to do it again this week. I'm going to have a little fun with it and talk about conformity versus non-conformity, why nobody likes a rule breaker, but nobody values a rule worshiper. But first, let's take a moment to remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works, relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There's so many resources out there about what you need to do to be agile, but we're focused on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So let's hammer down those fundamentals to create a truly unique and powerful force in this industry. If you love this episode, if this helps you, do me one favor, tell a friend. Thank you very much. Okay, sameness. I'll tell you something. Shot across the bow. The world doesn't reward rule worshipers. If you think about the people that you idolize, the people that you follow on LinkedIn and Instagram, the people that you think are influential, the people whose opinions you value because you'd like to be more like them, you'd like to have some of what they have maybe, you like to accomplish what they've accomplished, look carefully. They follow no rules at all. Now, they'll tell you all the rules of the game in terms of the things that they did to get where they got, because they're trying to help you. They're trying to share with you some wisdom that you can use to get those kinds of results, but they're not really rules. If you look carefully, what they're trying to tell you is that there are no rules. And more importantly, that the rules that everyone else tends to follow are the exact same rules that get you stuck in a rut. All you need to do is look around the halls of LinkedIn, Instagram, social media, anywhere, and you see everyone doing kind of the same thing. If one sort of post becomes really popular, everyone starts to make that kind of post. So right now, in spring of 2025, everyone all of a sudden has their own action figure. You can get AI to generate a realistic-looking action figure for you. Likewise, you can have a comic book avatar. So one person does this and everyone else assumes, oh, I should do that too, but nobody stops to ask, why? What for? What will this do? If I have something really unique and cool, you think, well, everyone's going to look at it and say, oh my God, your action figure's so cool. How'd you do that? But in reality, if everyone has an action figure, nobody's looking at yours and saying, look how great yours is. It's pedestrian. It's what the others do. It's following a trend. You're being an imitator, not an originator. Everyone's pumping out their own AI artwork. No one's going to pay attention to it because everyone's got their own AI artwork and everyone's a little bit different, but at the end of the day, they're all kind of the same. In fact, if you noticed, AI itself is a little bit overhyped. It's got a feeling kind of similar to the app revolution of the early 2000s internet boom and the crypto revolution of a couple of years ago. It was going to change everything and it was going to do it overnight, so you better be ready. But at the end of the day, yeah, AI can make some things faster or simpler or cheaper, but are they the things that are really worth having? Sure, you can write a book in a couple of hours with AI, but who would want to read a book that wasn't written by a human being? Who would want to read a book? Who would want to write a book, for that matter, knowing that it's the exact same content based on the aggregate of millions and millions and billions of inputs that'd be the exact same or very close to the book that the person living next door to you would write if they came up with the exact same prompt? Where's the value in that? But look, things in our environment are changing, aren't they? Work is unstable. The economy is unstable. The political landscape is unstable in North America. We have problems with tariffs. We have problems with not enough jobs. We have problems with the cost of living. This is not time to conform and be like everyone else, because everyone else is being underpaid, being told that there are no jobs or opportunities, that they're not good enough to make the cut, and please put your resume on our pile of 1,000 other resumes. So being the same as everyone else will not get you paid, will not get you rewarded, will not get you employed. Rule worshiping gets you nothing. So why do we do it? Because there is no greater force than safety. In uncertain times, we especially look to the left and look to the right to see what our neighbor is doing, and we assume if we see enough people doing it, that it must be right and good, and I should do it too. But there's no value in that. Doing what others do might be fun, might feel comfortable, might make you feel safe in that you're worshiping the rules, you're not going to get in any trouble, so you won't get fired, and all of those things might be true. But the only thing that ever works to create demand, to create job security, to create financial prosperity is when you do things that break with convention. But guess what? When you forego safety, not only are things a lot harder because now you got to invent, you got to be a creator, you got to be a true original. That's hard to do, but you're also going to be dealing with rejection, ridicule, and worse. At first, when you do things different than everybody else, when you say the thing that nobody else wants to say, much less wants to hear, they're going to push you aside. They're going to call you all sorts of nasty names. They're going to kick you out of their cool little group because you're not obeying the rules of what looks cool, what is cool, as decided by somebody, I don't know who. Well, friends, I'm here to tell you, and this is important, all of this is a test. The rejection, the ridicule, the loneliness, the lack of support, people not getting you, not trusting you, are simply the price that you have to pay. It's the cost of entry to living a life of your own design. If you want to be fulfilled, it's not enough to be a by-the-book Agile rule worshiper. You want to do things that haven't been done before. You want to get your customer a result that they couldn't get without you. You want to take things to a new level. You want to change the way we deliver value from the way we did it yesterday, much less the past 10 years or more. My question for you is this. Are you made of strong enough stuff to be that one in a million, that true original, knowing that society doesn't value a non-conformist? They want to see you behaving properly in the aisles and the pews of LinkedIn. They want to see you making the avatar. They want to see you using the AI art. They want to see you posting your certificate of completion for your latest 1-hour LinkedIn Live course on mastering leadership. Do as the others do. Follow the herd. Make the herd noises, the sheep noises, the cow noises, whatever you want to call them. Somebody wants you to behave in predictable ways. And here's the worst part. Your friends who behave in predictable ways and subscribe to the value of conformity will be one of the people who will question you. They'll raise their eyebrows when they see you doing something different. They'll say, why do you want to do that? Don't you want to be with us? The answer is, yeah, of course. You want your friends. You want your support group. You want your peer group. You want the respect of people whose respect maybe you've held for a long time. But to truly innovate, to live a life that's memorable, that's worth living, you're going to have to forego some of that stuff. Interesting thing is everyone reveres, the people who invented PayPal and Tesla and Oracle, all those other wonderful inventions. We look at them now and we say, oh, the mighty Steve Jobs. Yeah, I would like to be like him. I'd like to have some of his genius. But nobody wants to go through what he went through, getting fired from the most important position in his own company, to be ostracized and doubted, laughed at. Nobody wants to go through that pain in order to get to the privilege of being a true innovator. But I'm here to tell you from experience, as someone who authored the Badass Agile podcast, who was able to turn that into a revenue stream, who then turned that into a course, the Forge, and then into the new Forge Genesis that I offer both to individuals in the public, but also to private companies. Those things happen because of the courage to do something, to build something that didn't exist before. Now, if this speaks to you, stay tuned. If not, if you're thinking, but I just want to keep my job, I just want to do well enough to not get fired, I just want to collect my pension, I'm almost at retirement age, I just want to stay with a stable company, keep my credit rating up so I can keep my house, my car, the 2.5 kids. No judgment. But if that's more interesting to you, this may not be for you. A lot of the things that I'm going to say in the podcast in the coming months won't be for everybody. But more and more, I hear people clamoring for a different way of working. We've seen hybrid work, remote work, and we love the change. We see the possibility and we don't want to go back to the way things were before. I no longer want to follow a set of rules just for the sake of following the rule book. I want to make a difference. I want to create things of lasting value. I want to try building something just to see if I can do it, to see if I've got it in me creatively, energetically, entrepreneurially. Well, if that sounds more like you, then here's what you need to do. First thing, always be making notes of what you think, see, hear, and believe. Let change be your obsession. Let your future value be something you can't stop thinking about it. You may not bump into it on day one, but when you do, you'll keep thinking about it. And so keep writing about it. Keep talking about it. Keep forming and shaping and honing your vision, your idea. But don't let these things just be thoughts in your head before you drift off to sleep. Wake up every day and think, write, imagine, visualize. Ask questions. Suggest answers. Be prepared to be wrong and write it all as if it's all going into the garbage can, because it probably is. Sooner or later, over time, you'll have an epiphany. Only after you've gone through the trials, the frustration, the readiness to give up because you feel like you're close but not close enough, like you're never going to get it. It's only on the other side of that adversity that you'll be rewarded with something concrete, something you can use, something that when you drop it in the pond makes undeniable, irreversible ripples. So folks, you're only doing this if you're willing to risk at least part of a traditional livelihood. Maybe you do this as a side hustle. You do it in your spare time. You do it on the weekends. Then eventually you start a blog or a podcast or a YouTube channel. Maybe you design a product. Maybe you pull a few partners together and think about building something, an agency, a service, a collective. Who knows? Maybe you make your own version of the Agile Manifesto, but it's something completely different. It's not an evolution, it's a revolution. Either way, this isn't for the weak. If the idea of that risk is intolerable to you, it's just not who you are, then don't take this on. Because next, once you start to formulate your thoughts, you're going to go out and talk about them. I started by talking to my peers at work about what I was doing with the podcast, but I also started talking on social media. Any way you can get to attract the attention of people who think like you think, who want what you make and believe what you believe, we need those people. Because those are the people who will say, yes, this is different, but yes, I believe in this. Yes, I need this. Let's try it. And slowly, a groundswell of support will begin to form. It happens almost without trying, as long as you're simply sticking your voice out there. And instead of posting pictures of your comic book avatar or your newest action figure, you're talking about the things that matter to you. What do you see in the marketplace? What do you see in the workplace? What is happening every day? What have you tried and tested that works versus doesn't? Tell stories. Form a hypothesis and share it with people. Share it to give them hope, to give them ideas, to help them be more creative, to teach them something. The truth is this: only a few will answer this call. The rest of us will just go back to what everyone else is doing on LinkedIn. What does this post look like? Oh, hot take number 1 or unpopular opinion. And we simply parrot and mimic what everyone else is doing. But if you imitate average thinking, you'll end up with average results or worse. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So it's only with your willingness to try things that are hard, that are risky and unknown, and risk rejection and embarrassment and sometimes loss. Like you say enough of the wrong things, you could eventually lose your job. But I say good, because if they're the things that you believe in, that job was worth losing. And that may sound irresponsible. It might sound risky. But I tell you what, in this age that we live in, it's the best insurance policy you can buy. Because if you can write down your vision, spend a little time with it every day, play with it like it's your favorite toy or your favorite video game, just keep working it. Find the nuances, find the cheat code, find the shortcuts. Have fun exploring unknown territory that you've never seen before. If you can do that, all you have to do is find people who believe the same thing. So the next thing you have to get good at is the art of influencing and convincing others. I think the shortest path to that is being a great storyteller. And part of that is how you talk and what you talk about. but also the evidence you collect of your ideas in action. Did they work? Did they not work? What did you learn? But also remember something, and I know this from teaching the Forge, that courage, the most often requested skill, attracts followers all on its own. Somebody who looks like they know what they're talking about, even if they don't, someone who has the certainty to try, even though they don't know what the result will be, and admit when they've screwed up, is highly attractive to the masses. We're all wishing for someone like that. That's why we watch Avengers movies, because we're looking for someone out of the ordinary, someone to break the rules, someone who cares enough to come out of retirement to save us. We all want that courageous hero. And once you stick your neck out like that, you start talking about these ideas, then all you have to do is have the resilience to see it through, to stick with it, to not quit. Even when people tell you you're crazy and it won't work, even when the haters come out of the woodwork. But you know what? The truth is you'll have haters no matter what you talk about. If you talk about the commonplace and the average, somebody eventually is going to throw shade. You can't worry about them. What you got to worry about and protect is your original voice, your courage, your ability and willingness to not conform to the rules. Only a few will answer this call. Will you be among them? Reach out and let me know. You can find me at badassagile.com or the contact points in the show notes below. I'd love to hear from you. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, my friend. Until then, stay badass.